decades of bipartisan policy, and dropping that email thing, it was like a 5-point drop overnight. I've never seen anything like it.
Bill Clinton was the 42nd President of the United States, serving from 1993 to 2001. In 1978, Clinton became the youngest governor in the country when he was elected governor of Arkansas. Elected U.S. President in 1992 and re-elected in 1996, Clinton enacted legislation including the Family and Medical Leave Act and oversaw 2 terms of economic prosperity. Clinton was impeached by the House of Representatives in 1998 following the revelation of his affair with Monica Lewinsky, but was acquitted by the Senate in 1999. Since leaving office, Clinton has worked with the Clinton Foundation and campaigned for his wife Hillary Rodham Clinton in the 2008 and 2016 presidential elections.
It's 11 days before the election when he had not told us that he was investigating whether President Putin was trying to interfere on behalf of Donald Trump.
If you enjoy these videos, please remember to hit the like button, as it does help us out a lot. And comment below who your favorite celebrity is that you'd love to see in an upcoming video. His full name is William Jefferson Blythe III, but is also known as Bill Clinton. He was born August 19, 1946, in Hope, Arkansas, U.S., making him age 75 at the time of this production. He stands at 1.88 meters or 6 feet 2 inches tall. Bill Clinton was a keen college student, and he also worked hard in his spare time, raising money for charity. His favorite hobby was reading, and he was particularly fond of The Last of the Mohicans, The Robe, and Black Beauty. He also took up the saxophone and became such a skilled player that at one time he even considered taking up a musical career. Each summer he attended a musical camp in the Ozark Mountains, and he soon became the top player in the state's band saxophone section. As Bill worked so hard at school, he won many academic and music scholarships, and these enabled him to realize his dream of going to college. He chose to go to Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., not least because it offered a good foreign service program, and he also relished the prospect of becoming a student in a city that was the political heart of the nation. Hillary Rodham and Bill Clinton met in 1971. They met while studying at Yale University and have been married since 1975. In 1976, Bill was elected to his first government official position with Hillary by his side. They had Chelsea Clinton, their only daughter. Bill admitted to having an inappropriate relationship with Monica Lewinsky in 1998, which led to his impeachment. Hillary and Bill Clinton have been together for nearly 50 years.
I said, I feel terrible about it. I said, we've been through quite a bit in the last 2 years. I said, I have no defense. This is inexcusable what I did. This is not a defense. It's an explanation.
Bill Clinton's father was a traveling salesman who died in an automobile accident 3 months before his son was born. His widow, Virginia Dell Blythe, married Roger Clinton, and despite their unstable union, they divorced and then remarried, and her husband's alcoholism, her son eventually took his stepfather's name. Reared in part by his maternal grandmother, Bill Clinton developed political aspirations at an early age. They were solidified, by his own account, in July 1963 when he met and shook hands with President John F. Kennedy. Bill Clinton enrolled at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. in 1964 and graduated in 1968 with a degree in international affairs. During his freshman and sophomore years, he was elected student president, and during his junior and senior years, he worked as an intern for Senator J. William Fulbright, the Arkansas Democrat who chaired the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. Fulbright was a vocal critic of the Vietnam War, and Clinton, like many young men of his generation, opposed the war as well. He received a draft deferment for the first year of his studies as a Rhodes Scholar at the University of Oxford in 1968, and later attempted to extend the deferment by applying to the Reserve Officers Training Corps, ROTC program, at the University of Arkansas School of Law. Although he soon changed his plans and returned to Oxford, thus making himself eligible for the draft, he was not chosen. While at Oxford, Clinton wrote a letter to the director of the Arkansas ROTC program, thanking the director for saving him from the draft and explaining his concern that his opposition to the war could ruin his future political viability. During this period, Clinton also experimented with marijuana. His later claim that he didn't inhale would become the subject of much ridicule. After graduation from law school, Clinton became a professor at the University of Arkansas. He then later, in 1974, tried to run for House of Representatives but was defeated, and he opted to run for Arkansas Attorney General, where he was elected. In 1978, Clinton became the youngest governor at the age of 32 in Arkansas when he won, and many refer to him as Boy Governor. He was elected again in 1982 and stayed in office for another 10 years. And during his time, he helped in the transformation of the educational system and economy of Arkansas. Upon winning the Democratic presidential primaries, he secured the party nomination, and in 1992 he won the presidential election with 370 electoral votes, becoming the 42nd president of the USA. In 1996, he secured his second term in office, winning with 49.2% against Bob Dole, who had 40.7%. During his time as the president impeached, though, the Senate acquitted Clinton. He left office in 2001, and today he usually engages himself in giving speeches, fundraising, and founding charitable organizations.
I believe over those years was either at a charity event or a political event if he was alone, or when his family was around.
Since Bill and Hillary left the White House in 2001, they've turned political fame into a personal fortune, raking in more than $240 million, according to a Forbes analysis of 15 years of their tax returns. Bill made most of the money, earning $189 million by writing books, giving speeches, consulting private companies, and advising billionaire Ron Burkle. Days after his presidency ended, he earned $125,000 for a speech at Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter and Company in New York, according to a financial disclosure form Hillary filed as a senator in 2002. It was the first of hundreds of paid speeches that collectively made him an estimated $106 million over 15 years. In 2004, he published his best-selling memoir, My Life, one of the former president's 4 titles. Clinton earned an estimated $38 million as an author from 2001 to 2015. In addition to the high-profile books and speaking gigs, he quietly earned several $1 million offering to consult for private companies. He made $15 million advising billionaire Ron Burkle's investment firm Yucaipa, and another $24 million consulting for-profit education companies Laureate Education and GMS Education. Bill Clinton's net worth is $80 million. The first home of Bill and Hillary Clinton before they became public figures is West Clinton Drive, Fayetteville, Arkansas, which consists of one bedroom on 1,800 square feet of land and is now on the National Register of Historic Places. In 1975, Bill and Hillary, then both law professors, were married in the living room of this Tudor revival home. The building is now a museum. They later owned a house called L Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, which they lived in from 1976 to 1978. Mrs. Clinton had a hard time adjusting to life in Little Rock, which was more conservative than the college town of Fayetteville. The 1,394 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home where they lived while Mr. Clinton was Attorney General was a pit stop on the way to the governor's mansion. They later purchased Midland Street, Little Rock for $112,000 and lived there from 1980 to 1982. Mrs. Clinton partly used the proceeds from her investments and her savings to put $60,000 down payment on the home in the city's Hillcrest district, purchased in the dark days after Mr. Clinton lost his re-election bid for governor. She built wooden bookshelves in the sunny office, which locals joke was the first Clinton library, and converted the attic into a room for Chelsea, who celebrated her first birthday and learned to walk there. President Bill Clinton, First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton, and daughter Chelsea Clinton bought this Old House Lane in Chappaqua, New York, August 28, 1999. The Clintons lived there after leaving the White House, and it served as Hillary Clinton's residency when she was a New York senator from 2001 to 2009. Bill and Hillary still currently reside in this home, while their daughter has moved to New York City. The Clintons purchased a house at 3067 Whitehaven Street, Northwest in Washington, while Hillary Clinton served as a U.S. Senator. The 6-bedroom, 7.5-bath home near Washington's Embassy Row has a price tag of $2.85 million. Then finally, the President Clinton Avenue, Little Rock, which they lived on and off from 2004 to present. It's a tastefully decorated private residence where the Clintons stay when they're in Little Rock. The apartment has a sprawling terrace overlooking the Arkansas River and the aptly named Clinton Presidential Park Bridge. The cars you would find in Clinton's garage include a 1967 Mustang convertible, a 1993 Cadillac Fleetwood, a 2018 Lincoln Navigator.